Welcome back, trainers. So we have a shiny legendary coming into Pokemon Go. That's going to be Latios. Challenge Latios during the special raid weekend. So I'm going to be going over counters and we're going to discuss a little bit about this here, as well as going over my thoughts on possibly new shinies coming into Pokemon Go for Go Fest. And it's going to be revolving around a Pokemon that I dearly love. So let's go ahead and get into this. Trainers, after your impressive efforts in challenging Latios, do you have what it takes to challenge the other Eon Pokemon? From Monday, April 15th to April 22nd, 2019, there will be a special raid weekend, and a legendary Pokemon Latios will be available in raid battles. So the dates are going to be from April 15th to April 22nd, so plan accordingly. Features: legendary Pokemon Latios will be joining raid battles. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny Latios. So there you go. There you go. This is going to be pretty neat. Now, is this Pokemon good? It's pretty good. It's decent for PvP for sure. As far as going up against raids, well, there's going to be better options, but it's still going to be coming in shiny, and I'm going to try to get this as much as possible. Although Latios, I personally like that shiny variant a little bit better. Looks quite amazing. This one is also pretty cool. It's that turquoise color, so it's going to be pretty fun. Now, let's go ahead and go over my thoughts on possibly shinies coming in for GoFest. Alrighty, so taking a look at this GoFest image that they presented to us, we see Mamoswine, Piloswine, Swinub. Alright, those are already shiny. Then we have a Patricio behind the Mamoswine in the trees, more than likely not going to be released as a shiny. Then we see the Unknown in the back there, probably also not going to be released as a shiny. Then we have a new Gen 4 Hippowdon coming in, which is obviously not going to just immediately be released as a shiny. And then we have Tortwig, which will receive its community day in the future, so we can obviously rule that out as well. Haunter already has a shiny variance within Pokemon Go. And then we have Ralts. Now, I don't think that's going to be released as a shiny for this. It's just kind of advertising it, saying that, hey, you're going to be able to catch plenty of Ralts here, seeing that those candies are somewhat rare to even have. And then as the screen pans over, we see the Horsies in the fountain. Now, that is the one that I personally think is going to be released as a shiny, and then evolving into Seadra, and then finally Kingdra, my favorite Pokemon. Not the favorite, but one of them. So I can't absolutely wait. Hopefully, just hopefully, this might be released during GoFest as a shiny form. Alright, now taking a look at my Kingdras, I personally have 3 of them. I did have about 7 in the past. I transferred quite a few, and I do believe one of them had Water Gun. Now, this is before that was even Legacy, so whoops, rest in peace to that. Now, let's take a look at them. This is going to be my Great League Dragon Breath and Hydro Pump. I do have a secondary move purchased on all of them, which was going to cost quite a bit. But I took the plunge because, like I said, I really enjoy this Pokemon. And not only that, like I predicted in the past, that this was going to be a decent Pokemon for PvP, and it is. The only thing really kind of holding it back is that, you know, Hydro Pump takes quite a bit of energy. Outrage is not the best either. I mean, it's a fantastic move. It just takes a decent amount of energy, and by that time, you could be fainted or burned up quite a bit of shields trying to actually enabling yourself to use it. Although it does have Dragon Breath, okay? And that is, as we know, one of the best quick moves for PvP at the moment, right? As well as Water Gun, if you do have that, it's going to be a Legacy, another fantastic quick move. And then it also has Waterfall, which is not bad at all, doing a great amount of damage, and the energy gain is not horrible. So hopefully we will see this coming in as a shiny variant. This is just speculation at this point. I'm really wanting this. All right, so there you have it for my predictions as to the shinies that we're going to possibly be getting for GoFest. Alrighty, now we're over here on the Go Hub, taking a look at Latios' stats, as well as weaknesses and resistances and moves, so you know what to use when going into this raid. So, it is going to be a Dragon and Psychic type Pokemon with a max CP of 3,812, attack 268, defense 212, and stamina 190. So it does have quite a bit of attack on this thing, so not bad at all. Looking at the weaknesses, the list is quite big here. It's going to be weak to Bug, Dark, Dragon, Fairy, Ghost, and Ice, resisting Electric, Fighting, Fire, Grass, and Psychic type Pokemon, as well as Water. So there you go. And if we look at the 100% IV, non-weather boosted, the number you want to see is 2178. All right, that's non-weather boosted 100% IV Latios, 2178. Now, if you do have windy weather, that is going to be boosted for Psychic and Dragon types as well. 100% is going to be 2723. That is for the weather boost 2723. All right, now if we take a look at the moves, let's go ahead and see what we have. Zen Headbutt and Dragon Breath for the quick moves. For the charge moves, we have Solar Beam, Psychic, and Dragon Claw. Now, Dragon Claw is going to be a bit spammy, and if you are using your dragons to go up against it personally, you are going to be taking quite a bit of damage because it's going to continuously happen. Now, if you're using Dialga, you're not going to be taking super effective damage while dishing it out to it if you do have Dragon Breath and Draco Meteor on it. Alright, so take note of that. That Pokemon is just going to be fantastic. I powered up mine just a little bit, but I haven't completely maxed it out. Looking at the other ones, we have Solar Beam, which isn't going to be too bad, especially if you're using Dragon and Flying types mixed there. Say like Dragonite or Rayquaza, it's going to be reduced damage because, well, you are part Flying. The Psychic is not something to really worry about as well. And also take note that Ghost Pokemon are not going to be weak to Psychic. That's just going to be Gengar because it is going to be mixed with part Poison, which is weak to Psychic. Other than that, you can use your newly powered up, possibly Giratina Origin forms, which I personally have. Going into this, Dragon Breath will be doing super effective damage to it. It's not going to be something you need to worry about because Dragon Breath on raid bosses is not too big of a threat. As far as the Dragon Claw, it will be tearing into your Giratina Origin form, but you will still be dishing out a good amount of damage if you do have, well, pretty much any move on Giratina. But what I recommend is going to be Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw for the quick moves, which we're going to go over here in just a moment, as well as Shadow Ball on it. If you do go in there with Tyrannitars, well, you do have something to worry about regarding the Solar Beam because it's part Rock, super effective. And now that we have Shadow hits continuously always happening, even if you dodge, you more than likely will be going down if that blow was to actually knock you out. And if you did not know by now, yes, I was well aware of this. I've been talking about it for some time too. I just don't continuously bring it up. And is regarding the Shadow hits, when those do more than likely occur is when that last hit is going to pretty much faint you out. Although Shadow hits can take place anytime, even if you are able to survive that hit and your dodge was successful, it still can hit you with that move. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and hop into the counters to see what we have going on. Alright, so I have all the weaknesses for the Latios raid pulled up here, and I do have Mewtwo because, well, it has plenty of moves to go up against it. So taking a look at it, I do have Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, which will work great going up against it because it's going to be weak to Ghost moves, as well as the Ice Beam one. So Psycho Cut and Ice Beam, Psycho Cut, Shadow Ball, Mewtwo's will work fantastic. Now, take a look at the actual real counters here. Well, Mewtwo is a real counter, but your highest damage output, disregarding, fragileness, is going to be Rayquaza here with Dragon Tail and Outrage. You do have to look out for the Dragon Claw, but on the other hand, if it does have Solar Beam, being a Dragon and Flying type, both of those typings will be resisting Grass, so you'll be looking quite nice. Especially if you're dodging, you should be able to last quite some time in there. And then you have not the Tyranitar with Smackdown. Where is it? There we go. Bite and Crunch is also going to be great going up against the Psychic moves because you are part Dark and you will be resisting those. So Bite and Crunch is what you want, although the damage output is not going to be the best. But if you're in a big group, go for it. That should be perfectly fine. And then, of course, Dragonite, with its tankiness, always a fantastic option going up against raid bosses. Dragon Tail and Outrage is what you're going to want. And yet again, if it does have Solar Beam, you should be looking fantastic because both Dragon and Flying resist that. And then looking at my Giratina Origin form here, the moves that I recommend are going to be Dragon Tail and Shadow Claw for the quick moves and Shadow Ball for the charge. You can go in here with Dragon Pulse if you have a secondary move. Well, you're looking great, but Ominous Wind is going to be super effective, but it's not going to be your best option. Personally, this is the set that I would recommend to you, Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. You'll be looking fantastic. And then you have Dialga, which has nothing to worry about as far as any moves. It's going to be taking neutral and then resisted from the Psychic, all right, as well as the Grass. So you'll be looking great. Dragon Breath and Draco Meteor on this thing. And like I said, I powered up a little bit more. It is lucky. I just didn't really want to invest too much more in it, but it is a fantastic option. Now, if it does have, let's say, Solar Beam as well as Dragon Claw and Dragon Breath, it's going to be looking great using your fairy types. Depending on what hidden power you have, if you have a super effective, then you'll be looking great. Just look at all of the weaknesses that we went over, and there you go, one of those quick moves, hidden power. Dazzling Gleam is what you're going to want for the charge move, doing massive damage. Togekiss will be able to stay in the fight for a significant amount of time. Not going to be your best damage output, but definitely a tank and dishing out super effective damage while taking reduced. And then you have Mamoswine. You do have to look out for Solar Beam because that would be almost one-shotting you. and taking you out quite significantly because you are going to be part ground type. And then moving on, we do have the other Giratina, which you can use. It's up to you. We're going to skip that for now. And then we have Gardevoir, which is also going to be another fantastic option, taking reduced damage from both Psychic and Dragons. So you can't go wrong with this. Now, regarding the quick move, unfortunately, both of them are not going to be very effective going up against Latios because it is going to be Psychic and Dragon. The other quick move for your Gardevoir is going to be Charge Beam, and Dragons resist electric moves. So that's a little negative there, but you will be, on the plus side, be able to tank those moves. Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball is what you're going to want. If you only have one move and you're considering using this, well, go with Dazzling Gleam all the way. Super effective, as well as you're going to be getting stabbed too. And then we have Weavile, Feint Attack, or Ice Shards will do just fine. And then Avalanche and Foul Play. So everything that this Pokemon has will be doing massive damage. But if you had to pick a move to continuously use over and over again regarding the charges, definitely Avalanche is what you're going to want to be hitting there, okay? It's going to be doing a lot more damage as well as charging pretty fast. And then we can go over every single one in between here. I mean, you have this. Scizor is always going to be great. You're going to be taking reduced damage from the Dragon moves because you're going to be part Steel, so that's going to be great. Fury Cutter, X Scissor, and Night Slash, all of those are going to be super effective. If you do have Iron Head, that's just going to be neutral damage, so wouldn't really recommend using that. Fury Cutter, X Scissor is where you're going to want to be at. Simple as that. You can go Night Slash, but you're not getting stabbed from that. You have Alolan Exeggutor with Dragon Tail and Dragon Pulse, also another good option, taking extremely reduced damage from those Solar Beams because, well, you're going to be Grass and Dragon, so both of those resist it. So you're going to be looking just nice there. Then you have Articuno, Frost Breath, and Ice Beam. Reduced damage from Solar Beam because part Flying, so that's going to be nice. And then you have Yanmega, which will be taking reduced damage from Solar Beam as well. So here we go with my favorite bug type here. It's going to be actually pretty useful. Bug Bite as well as Bug Buzz, okay? So if you do have some of those, go ahead and throw it into the mix if you so choose to. If you're trying to do some sort of short man with some unique type Pokemon, this one is going to be fantastic. And if you're not even trying to do that, just trying to save yourself potions as well as dishing out a good amount of damage, this is a fantastic option because Bug, Flying, taking extra reduce for that Solar Beam. And then you have Gengar, of course, with Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, Hex, Shadow Ball, or Lick, Shadow Ball. Those are the moves that you want. If you do not have any of those legacies for the quick move, then just go with Shadow Ball, and even your Dark move will be doing okay going up against it. And if you do not have a bunch of Dragonites that have Outrage, Dragon Tail, Draco Meteor, Dragonite should just do you okay. And now we're starting to reach the lower end of the DPS, sort of. Well, regarding this Pokemon, Bite and Dark Pulse, it's going to be doing pretty good amount of damage. Nah, actually not really. It's a tank, but it's an option right there for you. Honchkrow is actually going to be fantastic, taking reduced damage from both Psychic as well as the Solar Beam, because it's going to be Dark, resisting Psychic, Flying, resisting the Grass moves. So Snarl and Dark Pulse is what you're going to want on your Honchkrow there. And then you have Houndoom, Snarl, and Foul Play, taking reduced damage from Solar Beam as well as Psychic, because you're going to be Fire as well as Dark. And then we have Kingdra. Dragon Breath and Outrage is going to be super effective. If you do have Blizzard, that will also be doing quite a bit of damage as well. And then you have Latios with Dragon Breath and Outrage, pretty tanky. So if it did have, say, Solar Beam, you will be taking reduced damage. And with this Pokemon's tankiness, you should be looking pretty good. Now we're starting to reach the lower end here, so we're kind of cut it short. Salamence is going to be pretty good as well. With Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, you'll be doing quite a bit of damage, as well as, yet again, taking reduced damage from that Solar Beam because, well, Dragon and Flying type, so looking pretty good. And as we go down here, I'm pretty sure we're about done. We'll call this the last one here, Snarl and Dark Pulse. And yes, there's going to be many other options that you can use to go up against this. Say a Snorlax with Lick and Outrage is going to be a tanky option, not your best DPS, but you will be able to stay in the fight quite a significant amount of time. Then you have the Alolan Ninetales with Powdered Snow, Dazzling Gleam, taking reduced damage from the Dragon moves, so that's also another plus. And of course you have Jinx, one of those high ice type attacking Pokemon, but it's a glass cannon. Frost Breath and Avalanche, not too bad. And then Palkia is going to be another fantastic option. Not that moveset, not that moveset. This one right here, Dragon Tail, Draco Meteor. Still don't have one powered up, but I do have a 100, which I should probably get on that, right? And that's about it, folks. What actually, let's go ahead back down here, do have 100 Latios itself, which can be a great option, I suppose, if it did have Solar Beam as well as Psychic, because you will be taking reduced damage from both of those. Psychic does take reduced damage from itself. Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw, and there you go, folks. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and my quick rundown on the counters for it, as well as my prediction for the shiny at GoFest. Fingers crossed for that shiny Horsey, because shiny Kingdra looks fantastic. Thank you for watching, trainers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be catching you all next time.